What are you getting paid for?
Morning, everyone. We'll start with an opening comment from Coach Anderson. Please identify yourself when asking questions.
Morning, folks. Clearly disappointed with the outcome Friday night. Did not play well in the first quarter at all in any phase, and kind of figured some things out offensively as the game went on, but never could mount a defensive stand and really get them stopped consistently. And just frustrated with how we got pushed around. To be truthful, we did not match their physicality at any point on either fronts, and just not in a position to really play the way we wanted to. You take the first quarter away, we end up outscoring them 21-17 the rest of the game. Similar story to Iowa, just not ready to play. Maybe the moment, the just inexperience, just the physical nature of the way they play ball, all the above. You can't have turnovers, and you can't let them go down the field and score touchdowns and dig a 22 point hole and expect to be very effective. So we've got to improve. We definitely have to improve in the first quarter, but just big picture have to improve. We felt the effects of the losses on defense more in this game than we have up to this point. There were a lot of tackles, a lot of plays that were made by guys that are playing for other rosters, and it showed in this particular game more than anything else. And so I think we're finding out a lot about who we are on defense. Schematically, it wasn't that much different than what we did a year ago. Matter of fact, a lot of the calls were exactly the same, just didn't execute them as well. A lot of guys seeing the triple for the first time, and we just were slow to react. And technique, we got a long way to go there. So it doesn't get any easier this week. JMU coming in, and we all know 3-0, a program that's used to winning. They won't be afraid to come on the road. They won't care that they're playing on the road at altitude. They'll expect to win. They're used to that, playing on the road through the playoffs most of their career in the FCS, and now they're well built. They're fast, twitchy, and have a great tradition. So we're gonna have to play better, definitely in the first quarter. We got to play 4 quarters of football without turning the ball over and play physical ball. Hopefully we can get that done this week and find a way to get in the win column. What questions do you have? Nothing.
Andrew
No
Hyde,
questions.
KSL.com.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Yeah, I've got one. I mean, I'm sure it's a question that we're all wondering, but have you made any progress in your decision making with that starting quarterback spot?
I have. McKay will be the starter going into tomorrow's practice. I had good long talks with both McKay and Coop and Levi, honestly, just about their roles and kind of where I'm at and what do I expect. I hate being in the situation we're in, but it's my job to assess it and move forward as I think fits our team the best and gives us the best chance to win right now. That is the goal. I want to win. I want to win now. I want to find a way to be competitive every week in a very, very difficult schedule. But I think we've got the skilled players around McKay to allow his skill set and the confidence that he has in delivering the ball through across the field. I think it gives us the best opportunity to win. I was very open with Coop. My frustrations with his decision making and just his lack of confidence right now in some of his choices. I want to keep coaching him through it. He's going to have to play at some point. He's going to have to win a game at some point. I mean, if you just look at the nature of our league and how physical it is, the chance of McKay getting all the way through every snap for the rest of the season is pretty low. I mean, there's going to be a helmet come off, a bump, a bruise, an injury of some kind, and Coop needs to be ready. And this is time that he can keep working on that. But for now, we're gonna put McKay out there, do everything we can to help him be successful. And if he'll make decisions quickly, as he did the other night, be confident in those choices and protect the football, it gives us a chance to win. And that's really his responsibility.
Hey, Coach Patrick Mayhorn with the Ag Ship. You said you wanted to go back and watch what McKay did through that game and see if it confirmed what you saw on the field. Did it? And what did you think of his performance looking back through?
What I saw on the field and the frustrations that I had were what I saw on tape. I felt like Coop was indecisive and fidgety in the pocket. He was late He was late getting the ball out on the fumble. The ball should have been out much earlier. The ball that was floated down the middle was not a confident throw. Should have been picked off. We're lucky it hit the turf. The interception was not very confident, poor decision based off the look that he'd seen a million times. And for whatever reason, he's not comfortable in the pocket right now. What I saw from McKay was quick decisions, working through progressions, making good decisions on things that he's had reps of. Now, he missed some things as well. He missed pressures that he should have protected and picked up and read differently. But there are things that, honestly, I haven't really had a chance to give him reps of and really teach him through, considering he's only been getting about 20% of the reps. At most, on a given week, maybe 30% of the reps. I think those are things that, with reps, he will get better at and he'll have better answers for moving forward. But did not put the ball in harm's way. He kept his eyes downfield. He made quick decisions, moved on from 1, 2 to 3, moved the chains with his feet, was not afraid of the moment. And I think he'll only get better with the reps he's going to get as a starter.
Hey, Coach Al Lewis from KVNU. After the game, we felt the pressure that Air Force put on a new quarterback, and Coop was seeing a lot of pressure. You're going to really see pressure, it looks like, from James Madison, the way they sack quarterbacks. So, but can you talk a little about how your offensive line played? Because it looked like there might have been a change or two that you were trying to do there in the Air Force game.
You know, we dug ourselves a hole and ended up in a position where we didn't really get to play the game we wanted. We did not have any intention of going in and throw. We wanted to stay balanced. But when you dig a hole like we did with the turnovers and the poor play on defense in the first quarter, you realize real quickly if we run the ball, the clock's running with us. So we had to be way more one-dimensional than we'd like. And it did not play into our offensive line's strengths. So we also, that's a really good front, and what they do is a challenge. Now, there were several times I think we just overset and got beat up and under. There were several times that we probably should have gotten into some other protections than we did, and those are things that I think McKay will see moving forward better. Those are things he's going to have to handle in certain circumstances. But I think just all in all, we got pushed around a little bit, and we're going to have to I didn't feel like we got pushed around by Iowa. I know we're capable. It was a kind of a game of momentum that got away from us, and we didn't respond really, really well. This is going to be a game that, you're right, pressure's coming. They're about a 50% pressure team. They're one of the best teams that get into the quarterback of anybody in the country right now. And we have to do a good job of keeping ourselves balanced and keeping them off pace and keeping them off balance. So as a play caller and as a strategy, just offensively, we can't just sit in one spot and make them comfortable. Tempo is going to have to be a part of it. We got to run the ball. We've got to move the pocket. We got to screen them. We got to play action them. We got a quick drop back. We have to keep them off balance, and we can only do that if the game is a game. If it's out of reach and we dug a hole, then it's not going to look pretty for anybody. So I think that's a really big key of us starting better than we have in those two games, really all three games. When you consider it was 7-7 Idaho State, we have not played really well in the first quarter, and we're going to have to do a better job. I know we're inexperienced, but we got to grow up and we got to be ready all from the opening kick. We can't wait till the second quarter to start playing.
Coach Anderson, Jason Turner from the Herald Journal. James Madison has made other teams one-dimensional this season. They've barely given up any rushing yards. So what's the key to being able to establish a running game against them?
Handling the movement and the pressure, getting bodies on bodies. They kind of thrive off of chaos defense. Now, we see that a lot from our defense in spring and fall camp. And when we go against them, that's a very similar pattern and very similar structure defensively. So I'd like to think that our guys will be more comfortable in that environment than maybe some of the people they've played so far. But at the end of the day, you've got to get bodies covered up. They're going to move. They're going to bring in a guy, sometimes bring two. The good thing about that is if you can cover dudes up, then you can crease some big runs. If not, then it's a bunch of explosions. They've had a lot of lost yardage plays, which factors into the small number of rushing yards. They've sacked the quarterback as much or more than anybody. Tackles behind the line of scrimmage. What you can't do is get impatient and just give up on the run game. You've got to be balanced. So it is important that even if we have a lost yardage play, that me as a play caller and us as an offense, that we don't give up on the possibilities of still running the ball. We've got to be smart. McKay can't hang on the ball. Got to get the ball out and take opportunities that they give him. There are holes, there are areas to go, but if you hang on the ball, they're going to get to you. They're really, really good at rushing the passer, as good as anybody we've seen in quite a while.
Hey, Coach Patrick Mayhorn again. What can you say just about the program that Kurt Cignetti has built there that they can, make the jump from FCS to a good G5 conference and keep winning football games?
Well, number one, they weren't just your typical FCS program. They're one of the best in the country every year. And while they were doing that, they were playing and beating Power 5 and Group of 5 teams along the way. They're in a hotbed of recruiting. They've got tremendous tradition. They've been committed to that program financially for quite a while. Jumping up just added to that in terms of their funding and resources. And that thing's been built for a long time. Being in the South and being on the East Coast in the leagues I've been, we all knew who James Madison was and knew that anybody that played him better be ready. I think it's very similar to what we see over here on the West Coast when North Dakota State and Montana and some of these teams that have been perennial powerhouses, and even Weber at times, as we've seen. And this is a really good football team that did not have to make a huge jump. They just kind of added gasoline to the fire, if that makes sense.
Okay, then, Coach Al Lewis again. What about their offense then? They seem to be pretty balanced. They got an athletic-looking quarterback back there that runs things. What are your thoughts that way?
Yeah, very balanced. They like the quarterback's a runner, true dual threat. They've got speed outside, scored a lot of points against Virginia, and the quarterback, his feet are definitely a problem. He's not a guy that you can avoid or not pay attention to. He's going to pull it and go. I think they look probably more conventional to our defense than what they've seen in the first 3 weeks, but they've got skill across the board. They're committed to running the ball and staying very, very balanced. I think what they do offensively, defensively really match and complement each other really, really well.
I'll ask another one then. What about the injury status, Booth, and what do you feel like for your team this week, injury-wise? Briggs at the running back spot, how those things?
Yeah, I feel good about both Booth and Briggs being ready by game day. I think the extra day is helpful. We were able to get Switzer on the field eventually. He was out all last week, and so I feel like we were lucky to get him out of the game unscathed, didn't have any setbacks. He did not practice a single practice last week. He was non-contact all week, and as of Friday morning, it was very questionable whether or not he would be able to play at all. And so that's why people didn't see him on the field early. As the game went on, he played more and more and didn't have any issues. We checked him out after every series. He should be completely healthy. If we get both the running backs back, get him back on the field 100%. Most of it is bumps and bruises. Banged up here or there, but nobody that should be out unless we have some type of reoccurring injury or issue in practice this week. We should be relatively healthy. Anybody else? All right, guys, thanks. Hope we pack it out. We need everybody's help as much as you can possibly imagine. Get here, get loud. I think it's a whiteout, so hopefully it'll be shoulder to shoulder.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, Coach Anderson.
All right, players for today will be tight end Brock Lane and defensive back JD and Francois. We'll have those in just a minute.